Hey guys, happy Wednesday. We are headed out this morning. We've got to go at least rotate the tires, but today's low in West Virginia is 1. And apparently that is a record for this area. Actually, it's a record breaker for this area. I guess the low was 2 in 1965. So I am getting ready and getting dressed to go, and I'm standing by the window, and you can hear the wind blowing. So I'm thinking it's going to be pretty cold. Wind's not blowing right now until I round that corner. Hey, so we're waiting on our car, and we stopped and we're getting some Mediterranean food at King Kebab. I didn't get my stuff together and get a video together until after dinner tonight. This morning we had an appointment to go have our car taken for them to look at our car, and then we waited around there for a while, and then we had to do some grocery shopping, and then we came back and I took a nap. So I didn't get my stuff together to get a video. While we were at the Honda place, we walked down the road in the weather, and here in West Virginia, it was the real feel at the time that we were walking down the road. It was the real feel was -12, and it was cold. Walking to eat lunch was not so bad. Walking back was terrible. I didn't have a hat on, and I've never experienced a headache because my head was so cold. The wind was going through my hair and my scalp hurt. So it was a nice new experience for me and my husband. But lunch was really good. And that's kind of what I want to talk about. This week was a full week of intermittent fasting. And the way that looked for me was I did still drink my coffee. With the beginning of the week, I drank it with heavy whipping cream because I had listened to somebody that said that they did that and that was fine to do. And then the second half of the week, I drank it with half and half. And then when I was at work, I actually had 2% milk in it. I was listening to Kayla at 6 Miles to Supper, and she was actually just saying, drink it how you want and be consistent with it. Well, my preference is milk. So like I said, I did that at work, and then at home I use the half and half because I guess it has less carbs and so should have less impact on your insulin, which I think is what you're trying to do when you're fasting, not have any impact on your insulin. So I chose the 1 meal a day route. So my window of fasting differed day from day. I've mentioned that I work 12-hour shifts, so I leave the house generally around 6:30, and a lot of times I don't get home until 8:30 at night. So I ate my meal at home when I got home from work. And it's in the beginning, I was trying to do not necessarily a keto, but definitely a low carb, more fats. But then the second half of the week, after watching Kayla again at 6 Miles to Supper, the way that this has been sustainable for her is that she's eaten whatever she wants. And that thought really appeals to me, because if you're going to make something sustainable, you can't be miserable. I'm not interested in being miserable for the rest of my life. I'm looking for an option that I can live with and I can be healthy with. And so It actually amazed me. I am a obsessive weigher, so there's been a lot of days where I've gotten on the scale every morning. And one of the nights where I felt like I had really overeaten, I was so full. And I was thinking to myself, well, when I get on the scale this morning, this is going to be really bad. Well, guess what? I had dropped like 2 pounds, and I'm like, whoa. Generally speaking, if you eat a lot the night before, you're going to weigh heavier. And I don't know why I get on the scale every morning. I know that my weight fluctuates a lot. Yeah, it's OCD. That's what it is. It's OCD. OCD where the scale is involved. But I actually ate semi-heavy 2 nights in a row, and my weight stayed the same. So in the last week, I probably dropped like 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds. So I'm pretty happy with those results. Overall, I've lost about 8.5 to 9 pounds. And just the way that it works for me is I'll be down 1 pound or 2, I'll be up 0.5 pound, I'll be up 1 pound, then I'll be down 2 pounds, and that's why I don't even know why I get on the scale every day. And then a lot of times in the past, I know that when I've worked, the next morning I'll be heavier after I've worked all day, which really doesn't make any sense to me because I'm essentially on my feet all day. So it doesn't really make any sense to me why. I'm sure there's some scientific, physiologic reason why, but I don't know what it is. So that is how my first week of my intermittent fasting experimentation has gone. Now, again, I want to talk about Kayla at 6 Miles of Supper again. The way that she's explained her plan is that she eats 1 meal a day. In that 1 meal, she eats whatever she wants. She also drinks 2 to 3 cups of coffee a day with half and half. And then on Sundays, she eats 3 meals a day, essentially whatever she wants. And I think she's lost 80 something pounds, which to me is pretty incredible. So it really kind of led me to dig in a little deeper into like the why. So I started watching some of Dr. Jason Fung videos on YouTube. He is a nephrologist who I guess has kind of been on this nutritional path the last couple of years and experimented. I use the word experimented loosely, but tried different things with his patients. And, I've only I've only listened to like a couple of the videos so far, but the gist of what I got in the last video pretty much was talking about traditional dieting and cutting your calories, making a calorie deficit, and how having that calorie deficit actually slows your metabolism, and your body's so smart that it brings down its body functions and slows them down because it knows that you're getting less calories in. And then essentially when you start eating not 1,000 calories anymore, you're eating 17, close to 2,000 calories a day again, you gain all that weight back and then some, because you've run your metabolism down so far that you can't eat all those calories anymore. Your body won't burn them off. And he's also saying like a person that eats 3,500 calories a day will actually burn more calories. Because your body has kind of this set point where it wants its weight to be. And he says it really debunks the whole calories in, calories out. It's just more complicated than that. The body's more complicated than that. And I kind of had already been on that same kind of thread before because I read this book years ago called The Calorie Myth, and he talked about the same thing. It's not a simple equation of calories in and calories out. For instance, like he would break down how many calories it took to break down, say, protein versus straight up sugar. Like your body takes longer to break down the protein. It uses more calories in breaking down that protein, and it's just you can't count just the calories, just the energy. It just doesn't work that way. It's more complicated than that. So it's kind of interesting. And then also Dr. Fung talked about how he started getting into activity and how he was using all these randomized studies, so he was giving scientific backup for what he was saying. He was talking about activity and how, a person that works in a cubicle all day and then goes to the gym and works out really hard for an hour versus somebody who is up on their feet all day, running around all day. Well, quite honestly, you're not going to feel like going to the gym after that. And then he was just talking about how at the end of this study, like they found that there's not really that much difference in the person who exercised like crazy versus the person that didn't. So I'm like, well, that makes me feel better, because I've already said that, and I even tried to do it, but it's just on a pace I even want to keep up. I can't be away from home for almost 14 hours a day sometimes and then come home and exercise. That leaves me no time to shower, to relax, to eat. Like my whole day would be spent running around at work, coming home, going to the gym. Like I'm not going to stay up till midnight doing the rest of the things. It just doesn't make good sense, quite honestly. And it's just not really a lifestyle that I'm wanting to try to pursue. But anyways, I just don't see it as feasible. I don't see it as sustainable. And so I've kind of chunked it away as nonsense. But I really enjoyed listening to him, and like I said, the things that he was saying kind of lined up with things that I've read before, so it wasn't something that was completely out of left field. Although I'm sure traditionally, like traditional medicine, there's going to be a lot of pushback with that. But he talked about these randomized studies and how they've proved over and over and over again that calorie restriction has like a 99.7 or 99.6 failure rate. And then he cited like Biggest Loser. I don't know. I didn't watch all the Biggest Losers, the TV show. I didn't see who all gained their weight back and who didn't. I know that just in passing, I've heard that almost all of them, if not all of them, gain their weight back. And so it goes back to basically what he's saying. You really mess up your metabolism by eating the low calories. Now, unfortunately, that one episode that I was reading, I didn't get to finish, because he started to get into fasting and why fasting is not bad. But the part that I did catch is he said that they found that when a person fasts, their metabolism doesn't actually go down, it actually revs up. And I'm like, well, that's really interesting. And it seems like really contrary to what have been taught in the past. So I'm really interested in figuring out what that's about, and just finishing up that episode and seeing what else he says, and maybe digging a little deeper and reading some books and things like that along the same lines, because well, I guess ultimately it doesn't matter if I have science to back it up, because sometimes you just try things and when they work for you, they work for you, and that's what you go with. Like every single thing, some things don't work for other people. I tell my patients this all the time. It's kind of like blood pressure medication. Like the two of us can have high blood pressure, and our doctor we have the same doctor. He puts me and you on the same exact blood pressure medicine. It works for you and it doesn't work for me. Well, it happens that way all the time. I mean, it's something that you have to play with it. And it's the same thing with the food that you eat. It's the same thing with diabetics. Like, my dad will tell me specifically what drives his blood sugar up and what he can eat, and it doesn't affect his blood sugar, sorry. But the diabetic next to him, those things that don't affect his blood sugar might make theirs skyrocket, and you kind of have to figure out your own body and how it works. Something that was really encouraging to me and actually really helpful to me is, again, Kayla from 6 Steps to Supper. She was saying you need to kind of give yourself permission to lose weight slowly. And I would say that I've never done well with this. I've always been like an all in or all out kind of person, and I like quick results. But this is a place where if I can find the right thing, and it takes a super long time. I mean, if I lost a pound or even a half a pound a week in the next year, there are 52 weeks in a year. And, well, let's see. January is almost over and I've already lost a little more than 8 pounds. If I lost a half a pound to a pound this year, next week, I will be pretty much at my goal weight. But I don't have a deadline. There's no deadline for this. And that really takes the pressure off. And 2, if it works and I like it, I'll stick with it. So I'm kind of working on that. Now, today I ate 2 meals. But every day over the last week, I've eaten 1 meal. So it may be that I do alter a little bit, and I'm still figuring it out, and I'm still researching, and I'm still kind of in planning phase, but that's where I am. Now, I will tell you that some days have been a little bit more difficult than others. I did start in the beginning. I started fasting my aspartame, but I went back to it. It makes me happy, and so I'm probably just going to stick with it for now. And like I told you, I have been drinking coffee with cream and Splenda. It's not worth it to me to drink coffee black. I don't like it. I've never liked it. I've tried it. I don't like it. So, and drinking coffee is just such an ingrained part of my routine and something that I enjoy. I can skip breakfast and lunch. I'll be hungry, but I'll be okay. But if I can't enjoy something like coffee, just sit there and sip on it, and if I'm still losing weight with it, then why do I need to stop it? I really don't. So that's something that I've been working on too, is not being so hard with the rules. Like, who are these rules for? What? I just need to find out where it works for me. And if drinking 2 to 3 cups of coffee makes me happy and it works for me, why wouldn't I do it? So that's where I am. So overall, a good week. I'll be on this health journey for the rest of my life. I don't know that I'm going to continue doing weekly videos, because quite honestly, it would probably get really boring for a lot of people. I just don't know that I can find enough content. I am going to be working on research, I do that. I get on whatever I'm working on and I geek out over it. I like to read, and I'll go to the library and I'll find a whole bunch of stuff, or I'll find some stuff online to read, and I'll share that with you, but I'm not sure that you want to hear what I ate every week. I mean, maybe you do. And if there are people out there that do, let me know. But, yeah, I'm going to dig into fasting, and, I think about how frequently fasting is actually in the Bible, and I've kind of ignored it. So maybe I'll dig into that too, because, maybe it is something that God implemented because it is good for your health. I don't know that that's true. I mean, they were fasting for spiritual reasons, so it's not the same. And I'm not fasting for spiritual reasons. I'm fasting for health reasons and to lose weight. So I'm not going to pretend like I'm all spiritual or super Christian or whatever. that's not the case as far as the fasting is concerned. So, but I think that's it. I hope you guys have a great day. Of course, the day is almost over. I hope you have had a great day. And if you're in the northern states and Midwest, I hope you stay warm because, oh my gosh, it's cold outside. So y'all take care. If you enjoyed this, please like and subscribe. And I will see you later. Bye.